Tom McCormick is the first congressional district candidate. Tom is running against incumbent Democrat John Larson. If you take a look at Tom McCormick's website, you will see his what I think of as being his political pedigree. He started out as a citizen activist opposing the Vietnam War, giving up his draft deferment and sending his draft card back to the sender. He was arrested during the Vietnam War for blocking the gates of the Westover Air Force Base. He was arrested blocking the gates of the CIA headquarters during the Central America movement. And he was arrested blocking the gates of the Electric Boat Shipyard while fighting to oppose the Trident submarines. He's marched against Ronald Reagan. He's marched against the Klan. He's marched for the nuclear freeze. He's been a longtime chair of the Greater Harvard Group of the Sierra Club and a former board member of People's Action for Clean Energy and a former board member of the Connecticut Clean Energy Co-op. So it is my considerable pleasure to introduce Tom McCormick, who is the Green Party of Connecticut candidate for the 1st Congressional District.
Hi, good evening. I think people that went before pretty much have already said everything I'm going to say because they're right on what major issues facing us are today. So guys, you're doing an excellent job. If you look at my website, I think it's basically kind of lays out the areas of my concern and I'm adding to it. And there'll be more pages on other things, more blog posts, letters, and things like that. Just one way to organize this could be a business card that I pass out, basically a campaign card, and it starts off universal health care. A lot of people call it Medicare for all. I think Medicare for all is not a very good way to talk about this because Medicare covers 80% and doesn't cover the eyes, ears, teeth, so forth. In Forums with Larson, just to start this transfer to universal health care called for 100% Medicare coverage for the seniors, moving to cover the eyes, ears, and teeth. These Medigap programs, these Medicare Advantage plans are all horribly inefficient. They take huge amounts of money and they provide no health care. A mention has been made by my way of figuring something like 25% of all healthcare dollars do not end up in the pocket of a healthcare provider. This is tremendous waste. Canada, for instance, Japan does the same job with getting a longer life expectancy, third the cost, half the cost. So insurance companies have to go. My little quote is, I tell people, the health insurance corporations are leeches sucking the life force out of the American public through a oozing wound on their side that's about to hemorrhage and bleed them out. That's kind of a little tagline for that. Next, there's ban nuclear weapons. Obviously, I'm of the age where I was dosed with radiation from the bomb test. Like looking at some of you must have gotten a pretty good dose of cesium and strontium back in the day. The stuff's still coming down. How many people it killed is unknown, but to say it has induced 1 million cancers perhaps would be a conservative thing to say. And John Larson, he wants to spend tens and tens of billions of dollars to build new nuclear weapons. Me, not a penny, nor for any of their delivery systems, such as the Columbia-class subs that are just about to get under construction, electric boat. An easy, 10 to 12 they want to build, at $10 billion each, a lot of money, and they're totally unnecessary. The threat does not exist. So that also means no new ICBMs, no new cruise missiles capable of carrying nukes, no new bombers, no new penetrating bombers, certainly. Another item in there is reduce the debt. We're over, $20 trillion in climbing of federal debt. States and cities are in massive debt. Sometimes it's 10% of their budgets. Right now, the debt service is low because interest rates are so low, but they're not going to stay low. And there is a debt bomb on the horizon. and it's going to come to the next generation and the next generation. And I conceive of it not only in economic terms, but in moral terms. It's simply immoral to burden another generation and the generation after that to support your lifestyle. It's just simply immoral. And never mind the economics of it. Justin mentioned inequality. Who's getting the money from the debt service? It's the top, the 1%, the 5%. Renewable energy is on the card. Renewable energy now is the cheapest source, utility scale solar in New Mexico, under 2 cents a kilowatt hour. Gas, oil, coal, nukes can't touch it. That is cheaper than the cost of operating a nuclear plant. Solar. We should have it on every roof. We can. When you look at your bill, you're paying, what, 20 cents a kilowatt hour? Something like that typically. You put PV on your roof, so you buy it outright, maybe 7 or 8 cents it's going to cost you. So the power at the light switch, we got to go solar. We got to stop the new gas plants like in Killington. I just put a blog post up on that. There is a hearing actually tomorrow. So do check out Gas Attack on my blog post, because there's something you can do tomorrow to help stop the Killingly plant. Another line on the card, as said, God, it's not in front of me, something to the effect, equal treatment for all in all things. That simply means no discrimination. And it certainly means that bigots cannot hide behind the veil of religious freedom. Religion's not about being a bigot and discriminated against people. Sorry, if that's what you try to claim, I think you're just totally, it's an invalid thought even. Has no place in American society. A person puts a license out to serve the public. They take whoever walks through the door and gives them equal treatment. So no discrimination. And I am also a bit of an integrationalist, which not everyone I find actually wants. But I want to just continually push the idea that there is no such thing as biological race, that the difference between men and women are extremely small. There's childbirth, obviously, but mentally and our abilities, they're the same. Just as I'm for taking the race box off federal forms, I'm considering backing a position that takes the male and female off government forms also. I think that's an avenue to discrimination, and that's what it's there for. These boxes, they didn't serve the Jews very well in Germany. When you check the Jude box, did it? These boxes are vehicles of discrimination. If you look at my blogs, it kind of gives you an idea of many things. There's things there, of course, on gas. Just today, there was a gas leak in Hartford. And this campaign actually provided a good opportunity. I think that's part of the reason for doing this. Channel 3 posted a live video, and I was able to tag that with a post to a Sierra Club link study showing how much gas is leaking in Connecticut, all over the place. Gas is billowing out of the pipelines, out of the compressor stations, out of the wells. So it's a good opportunity to get something added to the news that wouldn't ordinarily be there. God, what else? Second Amendment. Guns is always a big thing. I do not believe that the Second Amendment grants the right for unlimited possession of firearms. I would actually in favor of really quite strict and comprehensive gun control measures past what the state organizations are suggesting. Absolutely, assault rifles have to go. And I don't see why the people in the gun control movement will not go after pistols. Handguns are instruments of murder. They're not there for anything else but to murder. And so I'm for a ban on handguns, period. No manufacture, no import, no sales. I know that's someplace that's a little hypothetical to ever get there, but you got to state what you want in order to even have a chance to get it. There's a lot of stuff on my website about international treaties. The United States has kind of become a rogue nation in many manners. We are not a member of the cluster bomb treaty. And we bomb people with cluster bombs. The apartment buildings in Baghdad got whacked with cluster bombs during shotgun off. Totally illegal, totally against all international conventions. Landmines, the United States won't sign the landmine convention. After wars, the landmines are still there. People in Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam are still stepping on landmines and having limbs blown off from what, 30, almost 50 years ago. So landmines got to go. Climate Accord, absolutely, we need to rejoin that. On Iran, Iran maybe never even has had a nuclear weapons program. People find that kind of like unbelievable. I would say that. But the CIA has said it. The CIA has said it. Khomeini said, absolutely, Iran will not build the bomb because the bomb is un-Islamic, will not be built. So I'm going to get back into the Accord. We got to get tough on the other nations that are rogue states. Israel, Pakistan, India, Korea, all need to be cut off from the entire international finance system until they allow inspections and start giving up their bombs. And it's not just them, it's the United States, because we are a rogue nuclear state also. The Non-Proliferation Treaty is very clear that the United States has to give up its weapons, and we have it.
Tom, can I just want to jump in for a second? Am I correct that that you are going to be participating in a debate with John Larson?
I'm not sure what's going to happen. The League of Women Voters and channel, the local West Hartford channel, is asking for us, the candidates, for debates, and that's where it is right now, but I hope so. And I found Larson doesn't have very much to say. And it was mentioned before about positions. It's odd to say this because the guy got 75% of the vote last time. I went around walking in businesses all over the place, up and down Route 6, 44, 10, all over the place. I didn't find but a handful of people that support the guy. It's really, truly amazing. And I think why he's there is, it's been mentioned, campaign finance reform. That's where he's getting his money. He's getting it from the defense contractors. I call them the war contractors. That's where he's getting his money. He's getting it from the financial industries, and from the insurance companies. He even got money from T-Bone Pickens, the oil and gas man. $5,000-$6,000 check. This guy, maybe someday in the past he was an all right guy. Maybe he set off to start to do good, but he no longer is there. And there's one question I'd like to ask you guys after, because I don't want this on the record, but I got a question for after.
And this might be a good time because we do need to move forward. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, I've said, and all this stuff's on my website.
And there's a lot of great material on your website. I've read a lot of it, and I definitely recommend it to folks, especially people in the first district, because you're right. One of the big problems is that we have an incumbent Democrat who has been, who rides in every couple of years with a 75% margin, and no one's seriously taking him on except for you.
Well, I don't know how serious, but we'll do what we can. The debates will help. And I think there's going to be another one down at the Capitol steps too. I'll let you know.
All right, very good. Tom, thanks for joining us this evening. It's great hearing from you and hearing about your campaign.